Good morning. This morning I want to talk to you about my meeting yesterday at one of the very large Catholic school boards in the Greater Toronto area. And I was approached by a Black single mom in January, actually, and I was away in Jamaica, so I worked with her from afar, but she was unable to get an appointment with the principal or the superintendent. So when I got back, I contacted the Ministry of Education, and that got the ball rolling to get an appointment with the superintendent, which we had yesterday. So the superintendent and the principal were there, two white women, and the mother and I. And the mother and her two children, a boy and a girl who are of mixed race, their father is Russian. What's happened over the years is that the entire French Immersion elementary school that her children attend has ostracized the family and turned against them. And this is all part of anti-Black systemic racism that we see in schools. Now, I've been a teacher in a Catholic school board for over 30 years, retired now, so I have no boss. I'm also the mother of three mixed race Black children who are successful professionals now, despite the difficulties and the racism they faced in the Catholic school board in Dufferin Peel, in Peel region, in Mississauga, where they grew up. So I'm now an advocate, and so I represented the mom. And you know what? I'm so proud of her, and I'm proud of the work that I did yesterday of both of us. Like, it really, really took both of us to do this. So I'm making this video just to share with parents of Black children, especially Black moms, that, you know, I was a single mom for many years and no one ever turned that against me. But I can assure you that in the school system, they really are prejudiced towards Black single moms. And when we read about in Policing Black Lives, the really watershed, monumental work by Robin Maynard, a Canadian Black activist, when we read on page 219, it talks about how Black mothers have been stereotyped as the angry Black woman when they try to come into the schools to advocate for their children. And then, of course, the children also get ostracized, and even in the case of this family, bullied, and also the marks went down. So it affects, of course, the teacher's perception. And you know what? It's so sad. But in a poisoned environment like this, even the good teachers will turn against those kids quite often, just to be, it's that sense of belonging, like, oh yeah, this is a bad family. And trust me, I was in high schools and elementary schools in Peel, and I know how they talk about the Black single moms. And I have many former students who I keep in touch with who tell me what they're going through. Very similar to what this lady and her kids went through. So I just really want to encourage parents of Black children to really be out there. If you can't get it, it's always best to talk to the teacher first. But many of these younger teachers especially are just afraid. They don't understand. They get their backs up. And of course, there are so few Black teachers that they don't have, many of these white teachers don't have an understanding of the diversity of Black culture and so on. So many misunderstandings. And I just want to say that quite often our children get bullied, but then they have to take it out on the kids themselves because there's no one advocating for them. And in this case, there was a lot of lying that went on by the white girl that was bullying the little Black girl. And, she came home with a big, horrible bruise all around her eye. We have pictures of that, and nobody called home. Nothing was done about it. And when the mom came into the school to try to deal with it, she got labeled an angry Black mom, was told by the teacher that the meeting would not continue. And, then her daughter's marks started to go down. The daughter's self-esteem suffered because she kept getting bullied by this same girl over and over. It's just the same old story over and over and over. Now, when we met with the superintendent, white female, Italian, she felt like she was the board's gift to diversity and anti-oppression work, and yet she used terms like mulatto, I don't see color. And, you know, after we started the meeting with a beautiful Catholic prayer in which I was thinking, this is not going to save you, honey. It's just not going to save you from me, because I'm here to make change, and I'm here to talk about the tough stuff, and we're going to have the difficult conversations. And so when she interrupted me, when I was creating a context for who I was and why I was here, and told me that we weren't here to talk about my kids, I just had to really put her in her place and let her know that, you know, I just closed my book and said, look, this can be a human rights case. We're not here to play. Like, this is, you know, you mentioned the race card, pulling the race card to to the Black mom. This is not a game. Like, we're here to make a difference. I'm here, I'm a volunteer. I'm giving my time back to the community because I have learned over 30 years of lived experience raising my mixed race Black children, as society calls them, that, you know, there's a lot of intervention that has to happen in order for our children to be protected in this white supremacist racist system. So I closed the book, looked at the mom and just said, I think we need to go. And she said that, you know, I didn't see the superintendent's face, but she said it was like shocked. And at that point, the mom said no, she wanted to stay. And I just looked at the superintendent and the principal and said, you've got to be willing to listen and, you know, not talk, like to listen. And you know what? They both chose to do that. And we ended up having a 2.5-hour meeting that was very constructive. The mom got heard. And at one point we were all in tears because the compassion is there. I get these women have compassion, and you know, in listening to the mom's stories of what she went through, and for them to really understand why she just couldn't keep coming back to the school, to be ostracized and ignored and treated so badly, it was just heartbreaking. And she shared also something else that had happened to her was she had put her children in the heritage language program on Saturdays for Russian, because that's another part of their heritage, to learn their father's language. And when she brought them there, the kids were there playing and so on, the teacher came in, took one look at her and the kids and said they had to leave. So this white racist Russian teacher kicked them out of the program. So they're also the superintendent is looking into that and addressing that, but I'm just letting parents know, I hear these stories over and over that French immersion, they don't want your kids there. They feel Black kids don't belong in French immersion, as if the color of your skin has anything to do with the language you speak. And they don't want you, obviously, in white racist cultures with such white racism, anti-Black racism, like Russian. And I'm calling you guys out. I'm calling you out. This is completely unacceptable. Our taxes pay for those heritage language programs, and our children have a right to be there. It's nothing to do with the color of their skin. So anyway, that's just another example that was horrendous, but really the bullying and the suffering that family has gone through is just unacceptable. So we were able to come up with a very detailed action plan with many, many, many things that they've promised to do. And trust me, we will be holding them to account. So I just want parents to know, never give up on your kids. Listen to them, watch what's going on. I know my eldest son never talked about what was going on, you know, and he and I had a great talk last night. He's now an MD working up in Northern Ontario with the Indigenous people, the Cree people. And he was saying to me, you know, Mom, when I was in grade 8, and they were suspending me and saying I did all this stuff that I didn't do, I was just going to accept it. But when I came home and told my dad, he was living with his dad at the time, who's Jamaican, my dad said, oh no, we're going into that school. And my son said, when? He said, right now. And he got the other family there within an hour. They were all there, and he just tore a strip off of that principal. And my son was back in school the next day. Parents, this is what you've got to do. Like, you've got to be in there. And honestly, it doesn't matter if they want to label you as angry or whatever. You get in there and you speak up for your kids, because now is the time. We do have all of the anti-Black racism laws are in place in Ontario. We are the only place in North America that has these laws, and human rights will back you up. You can sue these school boards if I had known what I know now, I would have sued the Dufferin Peel School Board, even though they were my employer. It doesn't matter. I know people who have sued the Peel School Board, and it was their employer because of racism. So, wow, that's a lot to say, over 10 minutes. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please share this video and just keep talking, you know, message me, make comments. I'd love to know what you have to think. And I just want white people listening to this, I have no room for your racism, your lack of knowledge. Don't come to me asking questions that you can look up and get educated somewhere else, because I'm here for Black people who need support. They are dealing with white supremacy every day, and it's up to you white people to get educated and get woke. That's not my job, okay? That's yours. And you know what? I have no space in my life for white people that are not woke. So if you don't like my message, that's fine. You can unfriend me right now. It's all good with me, because I'm not putting any energy into your white fragility, white tears, diminishing what's happening to Black bodies all over North America. I have no time for it. Okay, guys, have a good day.